But Mr. Deedat, if I may say so,
yes.
You see, as a Christian,
Right.
Professing and believing, Christianity and everyone connected with it have been reviled by so many people,
Right.
so much literature, and so many people in the world, that not only do we have mud of every kind of description in the world thrown on Jesus Christ, thrown on the church, thrown on individual Christians, martyrs, anybody else.
Right.
It doesn't, I mean, it sheds off your back like water because you expect it of anyone for any reason that they choose. And the second thing is, as Christians, we are then called upon, no matter how vile the treatment to the Christian religion or to the Christian himself, to arrive at the point where we can express total forgiveness for that person, because if there is a God who says, "Judge not lest ye be judged," even though we all do it every day 25 times,
Right.
we are called upon to rise above this and even to pray for that man, that God in his own wisdom and infinite way, through the grace of the Holy Spirit, will touch that man, whether he's Islam or whether it's Judaism or what, that person who is reviling, first of all, his reviling against us isn't going to hurt him, but when that guy gets in front of God Almighty, at least in the Christian religion, he is in far bigger trouble than anything we can do on earth. And even if we killed this man, and now
Yes.
I'm coming to
Yes.
to the sentence of death,
Yes.
even if we killed this man, in a sense, in a pure Christian sense, we are interfering with the law of God, because God himself, in his infinite wisdom, will judge him. Even if Rushdie had done that, and if the book never got published, if he had written it in a closed room and no one had ever read it, God himself would still be the judge of Mr. Rushdie. So having said that, you appreciate what I mean when I say, as a Christian, it's very hard to get so worked up about it, no matter how awful it is, when we've been experiencing that for 2,000 years.
You see, what you
and
have...
so have the Jews. Islam has said terrible things about the Jews. They've said it in your literature, that they are absolutely, some of the things are...
What they're doing now, at the moment, the way they're behaving, is worse than the Nazis. Which
Well,
we
but
give you
some of the
proof.
things you say about them are things the Nazis said about the Jews.
If it is true, you see, if it is true that they are doing the things worse than what the Nazis did, then if it's hurting the guy, me speaking the truth, is it true that if the guy who doesn't pay taxes in Palestine, in Gaza and the West Bank, that person is thrown out of the house, they confiscate his property, and they bulldoze the house? Is there any country in the world that does that? If you don't pay the tax, they catch you and take you to jail.
Yes, out
Right,
here they
right,
bulldoze
right.
they bulldoze shacks in townships, and people have
No,
been
for not
kicked
paying
out of their
taxes.
home. Listen,
For-
you can there are laws in the United States, if you what do
Don't
you
pay
call
your
it?
tax?
No, condemnation, or they condemn property and
No,
something.
no,
You can
that,
get
no,
people
that is
out.
a different thing. Then you compensate them. You say, look, this building we need, we want to demolish this, so we want to make a highway.
Yeah, I'm not defending
For
that.
public, this thing, say, look, here is a compensation for that. But this is the person who doesn't pay the tax. You kick his wife and children out. You take his fridges away. You just can't imagine. You break people's bones. I got films.
All
films.
right, I agree with that. All of that is
So
terrible.
now, when I tell you, I said, you are doing something worse than what the Nazis did to you. You should be the last people to behave like that, because you went through hell. I sympathize with you. And now you are doing the same thing and worse than the Nazis. So now, if it hurts you, I say, it's just too bad. But now, am I speaking the facts or lies? I give you proof from your own writers.
Okay, but what about Islamic people, and I would bring
No,
in
no,
Christians
no,
if I could, no, who have done terrorist
Right.
acts and innocent people. and
Culpable. If you catch the terrorist, according to the rules of your country, you have every right to do what you like. If you say, look, there's no death penalty in Israel,
There's no
death penalty.
death penalty.
Right. No, it's not my fault. That's your law. But to me now, if that guy killed innocent children, if I catch him, I'll hang him. You see, but you say, no, there's no death penalty. So what, you put him in life prison? So that's your business. That is your law. But that is not the law as given by God. The law of God says life for life. But now we're coming back to Rushdie.
But that's Jewish law too, an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth.
Right. So now, if you don't want to follow your law, that's your business. I can't force you to follow your law. But now we also have a law that for certain blasphemies against God and His messengers, the punishment is death by crucifixion, or by hanging, or by chopping off the hands and feet from opposite ends. Very cruel. But now, treason, to us this is treason against the ummah. Ummah means the community, the religious community. You have a law, treason against the state, for which, you had the Nuremberg trial. You had Lord Haw, that Britisher who was broadcasting from Berlin.
Yes.
You had him killed. That Irishman, who tried to bring some freedom for you had him hanged or shot. So in other words, now every country in the world you have a law, and you behave according to your law. Now in the case of this devil here, he's broken all the laws, but now I'm not crying about that. What I'm telling is that the way to approach the white man, the Westerner, is to show him where it hurts him. Because I'm told, like you said just now, that the people are insensitive. Look, you can swear Christ and you can do this and do that and get away with it.
Not get away with it, but no, but...
Right. But now there is a law of blasphemy in England. Mrs. Mary Whitehouse, she took the gay magazine to court for using certain blasphemies against Jesus, and she won the case. But now there's nothing to protect the Muslim feelings. It's only Anglican England has got only something to protect the Anglican Christian, not us. There are more Muslims in Britain than Methodists, but our feelings are not considered at all, as if we are human beings. So now I said, that is no sense in me crying about that. But you people, the Westerner, is also sensitive where it hurts him. So I show you, I said, look, he's not altogether insensitive. About religious matters, the bulk of the people are irreligious. So it's only a name. You're Christian, you only fill census forms. Mostly you say you are a Christian. But in your hearts of hearts, you are not a Christian. You are a Christian in the sense that you are not a Muslim, you are not a Jew. In that sense, you are a Christian, but in your hearts and mind, it has nothing to do with your practical life. Generally, this is what I see. So now I must show you where it hurts you. So I'm showing you. I said, look, you people are highly sensitive people. You see? Because my people say, we're also saying, these British are insensitive. I said, no, they are not insensitive. You try and say certain things about them, and they'll break your jaw for you. Don't try. But you have to tell him what? He said, look, sir, open the book. The very first page of Satanic Verses. He calls Londoners. I was in the city of London, in the Royal Albert Hall. I said, I take it that most of you are Londoners. Whether you're a Pakistani Londoner, or a Sikh Londoner, or an English Londoner, you are all Londoners. They say, yes, we are all Londoners. I say, he called you Londoners bastards. First page. You feel anything? Of course you feel. You see that? No. That's it. You are talking from a different, you are personally involved, and now he tells you, you bastards, you feel something. The people say they feel it. In America, when I'm telling the Afro-American, he says, nigger, eat white man shit. I say, you feel anything? They say, yes. He calls you coons, he calls you your own ooga booga and what. Do you feel anything? He said, yes. While I landed there in America, the same day, I buy the USA Today. And what I find, that in Houston, Mr. Westmoreland, he's somebody like a
general.
Like
General Westmoreland?
No, this man is like a mayor of
Okay.
Houston. So there was a discussion about this fellow, that Afro-American who went to Ethiopia and the plane fell for the United Nations and he died.
Yes, I remember that.
You remember him. So now they wanted to name the Houston airport after his name. Leland.
Leland.
Leland, you see?
Leland.
So they want to make it Leland International instead of Houston International. So this man, Westmoreland, said, why not call it Nigger International? And the whole of the Afro-Americans.
Well, they should have. That's exquisite bad manners. It's awful.
Look, they call me Kuli here, and I laugh it off. So they call you nigger there, so I laugh it off. I say, something serious. They call you Uncle Tom. I says, no, it's something serious. I didn't know. So call you Uncle Tom, so what? You become Uncle Tom? No. It depends on the person, the one at the receiving end. How does he feel? So when I presenting it to this guy calls you such and such. How do you feel? He calls you Americans. I dare not say what he calls the Americans. You see, what he calls the British.
But everybody hates the Americans. Everybody.
No, even then. You know that the whole world hates. But if I use that word, you see, if it was your son, though he's doing religion, he might punch me on the jaw.
Do you know what they say about this program? The people that don't like it, they call it terrible.
But now, personal, you see, it's not personal. You see, it's impersonal thing. The program is rubbish and like this and like that. People can say anything about Ahmad, Deedat, but when it comes to something personal, talking about your mother, talking about your wife, your sister, your daughter, then the man reacts. And if he punches you on the jaw, he's justified. You see? So now I only have to remind the British, this is what this guy says about you, sir. This is what he says, you American, this is what he says about you, sir. And everywhere where I went around, they are 100% behind me. He says, no, this is not done. This is not done.
I agree. It's not done.
So now is the guy who does it?
Very bad manners.
The guy must pay the price. So I said, look, maybe you see now you have cultivated yourself into a type of mentality. You have heard so much things thrown at you. So like here now, you call me a coolie. It's an insult.
Are you saying coolie?
Coolie, yes. Coolie means a laborer. Literally.
Yeah, like the Chinese coolie.
And here, the Indians were brought here for indentured laborers cutting sugarcane. So they call them coolies.
They call them coolies.
Right.
I see.
So
I didn't know
out
that.
of that, every Indian becomes a coolie. You see, in the eyes of the white man.
All right.
Every Indian. So there was a time when I used to react. But now I reached a stage now, where I said, you are also coolie. See, now I'm a bit clever now. I said, you are also coolie. I said, don't you labor? See, I said, well, that's what it means. You are a laborer. But I know when he says coolie, he's trying to hurt me. And then it hurts. You see, the word itself is nothing. Like the Englishman calls the Afrikaner in South Africa, boer. Boer means a farmer. They are farming people as a whole. There's nothing wrong with that. But when the Englishman says boer, at the back of his mind, he is backward, a rustic. That's what he's saying. You know, a simpleton. That's what he's saying when he says boer.
Well,
so the meaning, the word, there's nothing wrong with the word, but when you are uttering it, it conveys certain meanings. Same thing to the Afrikaner, he calls the English people Ruinek. Ruinek. Ruinek means rednecks.
Oh, Ruinek.
Ruinek.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, redneck.
In Afrikaans it means rednecks, meaning you are all softies. You go in the sun a little and you get red in the neck.
Red
you know, like the Red Indians called you
pale face.
Pale face, and you call them Red Indians. Right? I don't know whether there's any sting in the word pale face, but now in this word, no. But in the word Ruinek there is a sting. In the word Boer there is a sting. In the word Coolie there is a sting. Now because there is a sting in it, it stings, it hurts. It's not because there is a sting. When you utter it, you want to hurt me, so it hurts me.